Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Market Mastery. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to everyone, aka a bit of a warning, because Bitcoin looks like it could be getting ready for a big push leading into next week. So usually what happens is leading into the weekly close, which happens to be in about 2.5 hours from now, which is Sunday night or Sunday afternoon in the US and Monday morning in Australia. We usually get a bit of a rally, and we've had a really nice Sunday push already on the daily after having a little bit of a dip the last few days of last week, and then into the weekend. Obviously, we're all red. We got rejected from the daily highest close, which was the high close back from April 12. And obviously, we peaked above that one time, then we've been rejecting that from rejecting that. I think if we get a close above that level, it's probably game over for the Bears. And we should see Bitcoin start to push towards that 70, 80K. The next key level I've got is about 74, and then 80 are my next two key fib levels. I'll give you a quick look at those, how I got those levels in a little bit, but I don't want to deter from the fact of this really nice daily price action that we've got here at the moment. So what we had basically, this green box, which is from one of our P blocks or power blocks, right? And we can see that price is, every time it comes down into the block, it seems to be getting bought up. So we see buying up here, buying up here, buying up here, buying up here. Came down a little bit more aggressively here, but then obviously bounced off the weekly resistance. We see buying through here again, buying through here, buying through here. Every first time we came back to test it as well after the first rejection, we got a lot of strong buying, and then we saw just recently buying again as we came down to 60K. So what that can tell us is that there is somebody that is buying every time it comes back into this P block around and under that 60K level. Right, we can see that supply is starting to diminish here as well, which was basically telling us that there's less and less selling, and prices going sideways, and also we've been making a few higher lows as well, right? So basically that's telling us that the bears are getting weaker, there's less and less to sell, or people willing to sell just below this daily high. Now, consolidation below resistance is a very bullish sign as well. And we're sort of getting, what you could call a symmetrical triangle type setup. And it's starting to look pretty nice here as well, right? So usually I draw them through the candle bodies, right? So connecting this candle body here to this candle body and through here and here. And we're getting a breakout of that at the moment. So to me, that just looks like a pretty clean and clear bull flag after the push here. So, you want to do the macro version of the targets, the micro version of the targets from there. We're just going to get a Fibonacci tool. And then I'm going to measure from this point here up to this point here. And remember, with Fibonacci levels, we always go from wick to pick our targets. And then this is target one. So it's the negative 0.272 and the negative 0.618. So you put the negative zeros, the fib levels in, which gives you the target, so you don't have to draw it over and over again. But basically, it's just these targets here, which is the 1.272 and the 1.618, but it's just flipped, so you don't have to then draw it upside down, right? And then we've got the one-to-one measured move, which is going to be up here at about 94K, right? If it's a strong push, we should get to the 0.618, which is 83K. And if it's a more of a weaker push, we're probably going to see a 0.272, which is about 74. Right. So how do we tell if it's going to be a strong push or a weaker push? Usually what we do is we look at the strength. Just going to get rid of the indicators for a second. So this is a bit bigger and clearer. We're going to look at the strength of the position of the flag and how high that holds, right? So at the moment, we haven't dipped below the 382, which means that we should be looking mainly for target one. Sometimes it will take off a little bit of profit at the 0.272 anyway. So maybe on this one, we might take off 25% here, and then we will take off the rest 75% here, or 25% here, 25% here, and then see what it does after that. If it's in a really strong, explosive price action, then, maybe we'll wait and see what happens next and just leave a little bit on and slowly raise our stop loss up underneath the supports as well. So there's multiple ways for us and strategies for us to take profit on this trade, right? So if I was going to enter now, I'd probably wait for the daily close to see how strong it is. Ultimately, the better entry was last night, getting in on this bull hammer here off of the P block support, right? That would have been a nice entry to get in here, right? And then your stop loss would have just been below that level like that. Right, so I'll probably wait for the daily close here to get in, and then we're going to have a bit of a wider stop loss on that. So position size will be a lot smaller, but I still probably think it's probably one that's worthwhile getting into because this looks like it is a bit of a breakout, and it will just be a momentum play to run with the momentum and push the upside into the new all-time high run. So obviously it can pull back and get nuked before the daily close, which is why I want to wait to see what it does in the next 2 hours. Lower time frame is a little bit of a mess. Let me clean up. We've got those daily levels, right? So this is what I was looking at last night. We had this diagonal through here, which, it sort of broke out from, had a nice rally, but then rejected. This is a pretty nice clear level through here. I'm just going to delete that as well. That we seem to be bouncing off at the moment anyway. And then last night I was watching this and I was looking at this and I was like, when we break this level through here, it's probably not a bad entry. And so far, we're up almost 2K from there, right? Let's get rid of this as well so we can clean it up a little bit. And then just connecting this peak here to this peak here, which would be the daily flag level, right? We're starting to get a breakout of that at the moment. I think it will probably run and push, but, we don't know 100%. So we can always do something like this. And then that would be, a sign to bail out, right? If it comes up, rejects up here and then pulls back, then we want to be out of it. What we want to see is a big, strong, nice close here on the 4 hour, right? Probably above this daily high. And then, the next day or something like that, we want to see another clean breakout here and push and close. Maybe not so high. Maybe we want to see something more like this. So close somewhere around here, at least just out of this diagonal in the next 2.5 hours. Above the daily high would be pretty good too. And then I want to see a nice strong push the next couple of days. Like this, right? It really just takes us out of this area and breaks away. It might be a little bit smaller than that and do something like this. And then the next day is a little bit stronger, right? But those are the sort of candles, something like a candle like this with high volume, that really sort of takes us out of the range. We sort of get a breakout and you get like the smaller breakout candle here and then the massive confirmation one on volume, then sideways for a little bit and then push, right? So that's what we want to sort of see. And then, you might have a little bit sideways here, come back to the top of this, right? And then push again higher for the rest of that rally. So that's the sort of thing that I'm looking for. And that will tell me, you want to be holding the trade and looking for higher levels. And yeah, then obviously the flip side of that is, something like this, which is what we sort of just got here before, right? Which would tell me we want to get out of it. So you can see we're at clear levels through here. We had the breakout and then we got rejected. This candle here is a really good example of the rejection candle. So, it looked like it was trying to get a support resistance flip and then we closed as a red pin hammer, right? So that's giving us indication that we're probably going to be pushing down, right? And then obviously pushed down, came back below the daily high and then rolled over from there again, then rolled over from there again, right? So these two highs here are really important levels that it needs to break, right? And sort of got rejected again here. So obviously this is the key level to watch. I think a close above here and it's probably off. So yeah, just need to watch for this same price action again, because that would be how it's going to play out if it ends up playing out as a fake out. I'll do something like this, right? And then that'll be our signal to get out. But at the moment, looks pretty strong. Usually the last 2 hours leading to the weekly close are pretty strong over the last couple of weeks. So that's what I'm watching for. But the daily looks really nice. Like that looks really bullish. It's had a nice flag here, good mid-cycle and consolidation. You know, if you subscribe to the Bob Lucas 60-day cycle. So I'll give you an example here. So this one pushed for 49 days. And then we had the rest of the pullback ended up being 72 days in total, right? So then we pushed up here. We had 22 days of pushing. Now we've gone sideways for 41. So then, you know, we should have another push and then pull back for the rest of the 60-day cycle low, and then go again, right? So that's Bitcoin. Obviously, you know, if Bitcoin goes, the rest of the market's going to follow. Ethereum looking really strong after it had a bit of a dip over the weekend. Came back to this 4-hour P block, bounced off it perfectly. This would have been a really nice entry. I wasn't really paying attention because it was a weekend though, and I'm already really long Ethereum anyway, but this would have been a really nice entry, come down to a key P block level, and then we put in the setup for the Morningstar reversal. So those are the sort of types of entries I like to look for. This was an okay one as well, but obviously ended up getting rejected and rolling over. But this one is a lot better because it's coming back and bouncing off the P block support and then setting up like that and pushing. So those are sort of things I like to look for nice entries if you see setups like that in the future. Ray is one that I want to talk about because it looks really good here on the weekly. We set up, a few of us have set up in this accumulation consolidation over the last week or so. But yeah, this has been a really nice rally. Let's see how big that one was. 350% rally, and then we've come back, gone sideways a little bit here in our accumulation, and now we're having a really nice push, which is our sign of strength. And then we're having our backup action to flip the range high, right? And it looks like it probably wants to start to get a bit of continuation next week and a push to follow its big brother Solana, right? Which obviously had a much shorter consolidation. And then managed to break out and push a lot earlier. So obviously way more bullish. Just had a bit of a bull flag here, broke out and then pushed quite hard. So update on the Solana trade. Obviously, a few of us, I posted about this during the week in the Facebook groups and Discord. The entry was down here, right, which has ended up being an absolutely beautiful entry. Then we had sort of a bit of a flag, mid-cycle push, and it's pushed quite nicely for 27%. It's hanging around about 20% at the moment. So great profits on that. I'll show you on my other chart, which has the targets on it, right? We still have a little bit to go, right? So this is obviously the setup for those that weren't paying attention or didn't watch the last videos or aren't in the Discord group and Facebook groups. We've got the head and shoulders pattern here, which then gets rejected. So this is invalidation of the head and shoulders. So we call it head and shoulders failure, and then comes back up. So you can either get in on that setup, you can either get in here, or you can wait for the support resistance flip of the right shoulder. I missed this one because it actually happened a bit earlier than I thought. Sometimes you get it like that, and then you can get in here. But obviously this one held as a higher and didn't sweep the low there, right? So then the next best opportunity to get in on that was when it flips the right shoulder. So this level here gets above that, accumulates on top of it. That was a really nice period to enter. And then, yeah, we've had a really big push since then. So it's trying to get a flip here at the moment. I mean, it's always tough trying to get into positions late. But, this is a coin that does have potential to run. If this closed something like that, then obviously that's trying to flip the support of this last high here. Could be worth a bit of an entry or another leverage position or something like that with a really tight stop through here. And then you're just playing, trying to get probably up to here, the second fib target, right, that I'd be looking for. But yeah, obviously you'd need that to play out as a Morningstar. So it probably needs to close above 250, and then it would continue to push straight off that. And that's just a basic support and resistance flip. So breakout, come back to previous high pre-break, and then run again. So basically just a pullback to support and then pushing again, nice SR flip. So the targets here that I'm looking for, this 1-to-1, which is about 300. And then the second fib target is 270 pretty much. So it's not too far off that. And yeah, still looking good. And I don't see any reason for this to really start to slow down, and just keep watching this one on the daily for spot hold positions, because I think it might possibly top earlier than some of the rest of the market because it has been pushing and being more bullish. So there could be that Solana pushes and tops first, and then things like Bitcoin and Solana, and Ethereum and stuff like that run a little bit later after it's already topped. So things I'll be looking for is higher highs and higher lows like this, right? And then for it to come down and make a new low. So when you have that change in basic market structure on the daily time frame, it can signal the beginning of the breakdown of the entire market cycle, and you go back into a bear market, which hasn't happened at the moment. So what you need to look for that is you get your definitive high, which is this, right? And then also, I should say, when you get daily candles that look like this, usually a sign that you're going to have a pullback as well. So this is obviously a red candle here, and the green ones are the lighter color, obviously using Roman's setup here. But these ones obviously a red candle, and so what's what I sort of call blow off top type candle, which is a pin reversal candle. And as you can see, it was all green, then we got that one, and then we got the reversal. We had one of those here as well, and I actually took a bit of profit on that. But then when we got the invalidation of the shooting star, which was this candle here, I actually added back in and to catch the rest of the run. But I think I took profit on maybe a leverage play there, and then added back in. But so something like that as well, obviously a warning signs that we could get a reversal. Doesn't always happen. Market can be strong and just keep pushing, but as you can see here, it played out, and then that started the consolidation period for 40 days, right? So those are the sort of things I look for. And then, the market cycle. So they'll give you first indicator, and then, for the bigger top, you want to watch the 4-hour and the daily. And this is the same for Bitcoin as well, but it's a really good way to just understand the market cycle, how you want to be playing the market. Is the market moving up or is it moving down? So this is a good example here. We have our higher high, right? And then we have our low. Now we put in a lower high, right? But then we continue to make higher lows through here, right? So higher low and then higher low, right? So we're continuing up, right? Now let's just say that the market structure of this actually changed and this broke down like this, and we made a lower low and then a lower high and then a lower low and lower high, right? Then that's telling us that the market is heading down. So we'll be looking for this level through here to break and price to come underneath that on a closing basis. If we wick that low like this, right? So this low, if we wick that low like this and then close above it, that's an entry trigger, because that's what, as a spring, right? Which is what happened here on Radium, right? We got that spring here. I mean, this is a 4-hour time frame. I'll flick it back to the daily for clarity. But you can see here, so the Radium looked like it was rolling over, a lot of panic selling underneath here. And then obviously you have the reversal from there. So that's what you want to be watching out for and not getting caught in here. But if we had closed below here, usually what happens sometimes you come back up and you reject from the range low and then roll over, right? So that's how you sort of know whether to get out, and market cycle is probably finished. And then you want to be looking to short when the market cycle flips like that. You want to be looking to short when the market comes up into key resistance areas. You want to be shorting from there instead of longing from when it comes back down into support areas. All right. So those are the main things I'm looking at. Ethereum looks great. Bitcoin's looking really good. So our macro 1.618 is about to, it's obviously the resistance that's there at the moment. Obviously, if we can get a breakout from there, it's looking pretty good. And next key levels, the 2.272 is all the way at 211. And then 2.618 is at 400. So that's obviously going back to previous video that Roman was talking about, that 400 per BTC target that he has, right? If we want to take it off log and look at our entire market cycle fibs, which is what I was talking about before. So to get this one, you have you start from the top of the market cycle here, from when we peaked in 2017. You take it all the way to the bottom. So it's basically 20K to 3K, right? And then from there, it's going to give us all these key levels. And we can see that they've put in tops a fair few times already. So putting a top here, this one, it just blew through at 3.272. Obviously, putting a top there as well, right? Putting it at top. Obviously, this one wasn't, but we did struggle. Ether here was proving as a bit of resistance, but this one obviously perfectly, 3.618. And now, it's fighting through that level there again right now. So what I was talking about before, the 745, 74,500 is the next one. And then after that is pretty much 80,100. Sorry, it's pretty much 81,000, 80,900, right? Is the 4.618. And then the next I probably should put the rest of the key ones in, but this 19.618 at 33,000 is basically it's the same one that we had for the previous market cycle, which was back here, right? If we run a fib level on this one, I'll just draw it in to show you how it's drawn in, right? So you go from the top all the way to bottom and just drag it across. Right. The index one might be a little bit higher, but on the Bitstamp chart, which is the one I have been using mostly for this, or the BLX chart, it actually lines up almost perfectly. So I think it actually gives a lower target. I might just go and have a quick look at that for you guys. 1 second. Let's try this again. So this will give probably a different target, just slightly off. 32K. Let's have a look. Previous market cycle. Oops. And you can see here that it's pretty much tagged perfectly the 19.618 at 20K. So that's how I got that measurement for the market cycle top. And yeah, depending on, and so that's about 320 for that target. So let's see how this plays out. But at the moment, it's looking really strong. And we'll just have to see the next couple of moves for Bitcoin and how it plays out. But at the moment, obviously looking for those next key levels for Bitcoin to interact with and how this one closes out. And I think we'll probably get our push into new all-time highs coming up pretty soon. So thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Let's hope we all have a big week, and we'll see you all in the next episode.